다 나수가 산데 나는 주 먼저 롱 먼저 샤르 나초도 용나 민자 나초사 그 산드나지 주된 혼주 얘는 다제 주를 집에올마 주가 라초는 콜마 주가 빠과로레마 주 던다 몬리 주대제적으로 사차리는 배를 건강고서 룩소린다 주자리 니자리 우리.
The Changtang is a rolling upland that stretches across the northern part of the Tibetan Plateau. It's one of the least known places on Earth, a sweeping wilderness 16,000 feet high, punctuated with glacial peaks.
주말에 파이네 저가 성근 나오네 주말에 저게 저 여사가 사자 깨라 체크네 체크지리 파일 백 여도다는 리틀 레마 저거 존스 주 메시지 깨라 따바 니만 니 라서네 치마레고 사타오네 치마 야르곤 따바 니츠 라서 주즈 무다 주즈 우마다 사타나 저통 용통마 주 메시지 우마다 이게 주리 이게 롱도 때라네 주주도做做一般年轻时候年轻这个做的年轻通了把那都能我去这个定义做的今天做的不过把这个做这个的烂机会的烂的机会都做烂的机里面这个中农那个的中国经济真的是它的烂中农的想法的
O mokar mari gulu jato.
Tini tsugo non. Rachu karbu chisos. Rachu kema usa. Pendang de. Pati kime sere rachu yiri to zotu tangade. Rachu karbu kema chisos. Rachu karbu yisa tsugo. Tatanda ringiri uri. Tati ngum rumbushi yiri to shetu wonderta. Tini tsuti tsikse meba za tongdu. Ta tsuzi ori mari samdu chezong hida zu tsuwu ma ta ripu tsari. Si desi. Tsuzi rikyo ma. Nga samdi tsuti ta je chenpo yin samni. Rong sacha to tiyozi rong sacha jen yin samni. Tini nga kari je marda momoti jeri samni, jerkab jeri samni nga ti samba tiyo.
Tsoe are beautiful. The males have black faces, a light tan coat, and horns that rise straight up for 2 feet. They weigh about 90 pounds as compared to the females, which weigh around 60 pounds and are hornless. China has made them a mascot for the 2008 Olympics. But Tsoe have one disadvantage. They have the finest wool in the world. During the late 1980s and 1990s, they were mass slaughtered by poachers who sold the wool to India to make Shahtoosh shawls for the world's luxury market.
Mama Mugan Mugida. Zoja Sentinte, not so poor mother, so Mari Relay. They Kung Domate, Sajamato, Sotagal Mari, not so poor, Coimatagal Mari, Poker, Student Tonki, some Matzagal Mari. They Kung Drum, So Drum, or Pejus in the Modokarma, they Kung Domate Canal, say Jakatam Chele. Zosata Canal, the Kashimari. Don't saw the canal, say Jakatam Chek, Sabo in Dossi, then it take Kungate said, Nungek that Tungo Jarkaka Kaya Pog Lombatella too, Tim Maper Zondomat Srizodi, Sejak Matasori. Really? They do that or Tisok Chisok take Kungo Zala Cherry. They tell a Meli Chinga Serumbo Chan, Chiga Machana Dead Godana, Chicago Kona Jagleri. Then I get it. They may not Kungo Jawakari, they so go, they Sami Tongo Jimsi chain. They Saja Kundo Mutamjak, Dragajam Yakuri.
The story of Shahtoosh is extraordinary. It's a very sort of long and fairly complex or tumultuous history over the last few years, because nobody ever really knew what the source of Shahtoosh was. And when I think it was in the early 90s, when Dr. George Sharla was working on the Tibetan plateau, he found tens of thousands of chiru, or Tibetan antelope, being slaughtered there for their wool. Every single Shahtoosh shawl is made out of wool taken from a dead animal.
Let me show you these. You've probably seen these, obviously, before. From Tibet. These were given to us by the Chinese government to help us to educate people about the Shahtoosh trade. And they had been seized from poachers in Tibet.
You know, I know as a woman, you know, it's that in those days there was really nothing comparable to a Shahtoosh shawl. It's incredibly light. It's almost sort of feather light and very, very warm. And it falls beautifully. So it was always included as a part of the dowry. And if you were wealthy, you would you would have a few Shahtoosh in your cupboard.
You see this one? This is an interesting one. This is a big one. That has been made in that Czech design specifically to appeal to the Western market. It's very easy for people here to think, well, endangered species live in other countries, therefore that's where the endangered species trade must be. And what we want them to understand is that, well, there's actually an endangered species trade here too. It's all illegal. And as long as we keep on buying things like Shahtoosh, made from endangered species, then people then other countries will lose their wildlife, and endangered species will be threatened with extinction. So all we've got to do is just stop buying it.
What do you feel they use it for, these large sizes?
Well, I don't know, but I suppose it could be a kind of a complete sleeping garment or something like that. That I don't know whether you could make a sari out of it if you were Indian. But basically, it's Shahtoosh cloth, which perhaps you could make something out of for yourself if you wanted to. The endangered species trade is like any other business. It's supply and demand. If we have demand coming from here, other people will supply it. So if we stop that demand, the whole thing will collapse.
One nomad told me, a rangeland without animals would not be a healthy one. In such grassroots effort lie the future of conservation, not just on the Tibetan plateau, but everywhere.
Tibet.